The content of this video is intended for service technicians. The procedures and processes depicted are to be performed only by trained technicians. All procedures and processes were filmed in a controlled environment. Some safety equipment and/or safety guards or barriers have been removed or foregone for visual clarity. Always read and apply the general and specific safety rules and safety messages presented in the appropriate service manual and operator's manual. Always wear appropriate personal protection equipment.
Hi, it's Russ with the technical training team, and we're going to show how to use automatic crop settings on an Axial-Flow flagship combine. So to turn automatic crop settings on, we're going to go back and we're going to go into the toolbox, and then across the bottom of the toolbox we're going to go into the electrical tab, and here we have ACS status is set to off. That's automatic crop settings, so we first must turn it on. Okay, now that we have automatic crop settings on, we need to set up the run screens so that we have the right items on there to make the system work. So we're going to go into the layout on the toolbox, and I can't make any changes if I'm on the default layout. So what I want to do is I want to create a custom layout. So I'll change, and I'm going to select one here that I've already made up. So I'm going to grab this AB one, and we've got a bunch of things that we've already selected over here. And the three things that you need to put on a run screen to make this work are ACS save, work condition, and the third thing you need is crop type. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one up for crop type. And you just scroll down through the menu because it's in alphabetical order, pick the right one, and now we've got what we need. So again, the three that you need are crop type, work condition, and ACS save, and they have to be somewhere on a run screen. Now if I'm on the default layout, ACS save is on run 1, work condition is on run 4, and crop type is on run 2. So they're already there, but I'm just going to group them together so that we can show you on this demonstration here. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go into the run screens. I'm going to go across the bottom, and I'm going to go into run 6, and now I've got my items that set up. So automatic crop settings are going to control these 6 items. So rotor speed, concave opening, cleaning fan speed, upper sieve, lower sieve, and spreader speed. So as soon as I turn it on, then it should change those to match whatever crop type and work condition I have. So first thing you always have to do is select the proper crop type, and to select a crop type you just simply pick it, okay, and it comes up there. So I think we're going to show you how to do corn, so we'll pick corn, and then the other thing you have to do is you have to select a work condition. So if I select a work condition here, you can see I have none, which is equivalent to shutting it off. I have clean out, which is what I could use to help clean out the machine between crops, or if I wanted to switch between GMO and non-GMO crops, and the default work condition. Now the default work condition is where you should start, and the default work condition will be equal to the middle of the operator's manual. So if I were to open the ops manual and look at these 6 items, we should end up about in the middle of that printed material in the operator's manual. And now to turn the system on, once we've selected a crop type and a work condition, all we have to do is kick on the separator. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and kick on the feeder because I know I'm going to need that in just a minute. And you can see that it's moving the concave, and it's set the rotor speeds and the sieves and the spreader speeds. And I'm going to throttle up here and see where we're going to end up here for our default work condition. So you can see here that we're set for a rotor speed of 370, the concave of 24, the fan speed of about 980, 990, upper sieve of 17, lower sieve of 15, and the spreaders are set for 280. Now, if I don't like any of these constituents while I'm harvesting, I can make changes but just by using the buttons and the knobs on the console. So for example, if I thought my rotor speed was a little too fast, I could just reach over on the console and I could drop down my rotor speed a little bit. I could do the same thing with any of these other settings. So I could change my concave opening, my fan speed, my upper sieve, my lower sieve, any of those items right there. Now, once I've got the machine set and I like this, if I want to save this, what I have to do is I have to create a new work condition. So I highlight the work condition, and now I'm going to create a new one. And we just got to give it a name. And here's where I would suggest that you give it a descriptive name that you will remember. So I don't know, we might call this white corn or something like that. So we just name it. And we made a mistake, so we just T-E, so we'll call it white corn. And we know if we have white corn and we want to go back to these settings, we're going to be able to do that. Now, if I'm harvesting along in my white corn and I know I need to do something different, say like I need to change my concave opening and I need to close that down just a little bit. Now I've made a modification to my automatic crop settings. Now you notice over here in the thresher symbol that the 1 is flashing, whereas before it was a solid 1, and that's telling me that my combine is slightly different than this work condition. So this means that I've got a difference. Now if I shut the combine off and turn it back on, it's going to come right back to these settings. But if I want to save these settings into that work condition, then I must use this ACS save button. And if I push the ACS save, it has now taken these settings and moved them into that work condition. And you notice that the 1 is now solid again. That means that I've matched. Okay. Now, the other thing we can do on a flagship combine is we can have different settings for the harvest and the headland. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my automatic header height control. And you can see I'm on auto header. And I'm going to go into the headland mode. So I'm going to use shift and resume. And when I do that, you notice that this 1 symbol over here turns to an H. Now, when I'm in the headland mode, I can control 3 things if I wish. I can control cleaning fan speed, upper sieve, and lower sieve, if I wish. I don't have to do anything to any of them if I don't want to, but if I wanted to control one of those on the headland, we could. I'm going to demonstrate how to control cleaning fan speed. So let's just say we wanted to lower the cleaning fan speed as we're coming out on the end rows. I just reach over on the console and I adjust my cleaning fan speed, and I'm just going to drop it down a couple hundred RPM. Doesn't really matter. Okay? And so now I'm down to 680, 690, and when I come out of the headland and touch my resume button and go back into my normal harvest mode, you can see my fan speed goes right back up, and I go back into my harvest mode over here in the thresher symbol. Get to the other end of the row, shift and resume, fan speed's going to drop, and my H is in there. Now you notice that the H is flashing, and that's because the current headland mode does not match what's stored in this work condition. So if I want to store or save the headland mode, then what I have to do is I have to push ACS save. And we'll get the solid H, and now I've saved both the harvest mode and the headland mode. Okay, so we're going to throttle down here. We're going to shut off our separator and feeder. Okay, so let's say that we're going to jump into soybeans. So we've harvested some corn, and now we want to go into soybeans. Well, to use automatic crop settings to set the machine for soybeans, I simply change the crop type, and the crop type will be beans, soybeans. So we'll take that, and we're going to start on the default work condition, so default, okay? And now when we turn on the separator, it's going to set the machine for soybeans. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the separator. And you see it gave me that error that said it wanted me to shift the rotor up. That's because under the corn work condition, it's looking for first gear, and under the soybeans, it's looking for second gear. So it told me that I needed to do that. I'm not going to go do that because we're in the cab shooting this video. But when I roll up the speed here, so you see that it's telling us to decrease spreader speed below 450, and it's telling us different things that we need to do based on our header type. So we probably should have unplugged our header type module, but that's okay. But you can see that it's going to warn you about doing different things with the machine. So now it's got us set for soybeans. It'll reset everything back to what it needs to cut beans. We can do the same thing now that we did before, which was if we want to make changes, we simply just adjust whatever it is that we want to adjust. And if we want to save those changes, we just simply create a new work condition, and I'm just going to call it ABC for quick purposes. And we just saved all those settings into there. And again, if I make more changes, we're going to have the one flashing, means we're different. We hit the save button, and now we're going to get the one to stop flashing because it's now saved it. Okay. All right, we'll slow back down again. We'll shut the separator off. Okay. And now we're going to go back to our corn. So we're going to change our crop type. And now we're going to go back to corn. And we're still in that work condition called white corn. I could choose any of the work conditions that I have made previously, but we're going to stay with white corn. And again, all I have to do is turn the separator switch on, and the machine will reset itself for corn. Now, shut it off one more time. And if I set my work condition to clean out, okay, notice that I got a C symbol over here. So that's how I know that I'm in clean out mode. So even if I go to any other run screen, I can tell that, hey, there's going to be something not quite right here because I'm in clean out mode. So in order to clear that, I'm going to have to change my work condition, like not new, but select one, and I'll just go back to the white corn. And you notice that we changed that back from a C. So anytime you see the C in the thresher symbol, then that's going to mean you're in the clean out mode. And that's really how you make automatic crop settings work.